44. Chance of rain tomorrow afternoon and evening after a high of 45. Rain Wednesday morning, sunshine in the afternoon, high Wednesday 56. A chance for a wintry mix Thursday afternoon and evening after a high of 46, and that mix continues into Friday, high of 40. 49 in Madison, 44 in Green Bay, 47 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:08.
Broadcasting live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios at the Avenue. It's time for Point Taken. Here are your hosts, Steve Scaffidi and Kristen Bride.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Monday show. Happy President's Day. It's actually George Washington's birthday, and they sort of lumped all the other presidents in because... And I'm going to be asking this question throughout the show. Matt Smith joining us, political director at Channel 12 Postal Up Front, along with Jaron Jordan. For all of you out there in Radio Land, and that can be YouTube or the stream or WTMJ.com or, of course, over the traditional terrestrial radio. Who's your favorite president? 855-616-1620. Mine is George Washington. Easy
peasy.
Yeah. First
it's
one.
a good one.
He was a good one. General. Sort of helped, put this country together, along with some great help.
Yeah.
The James Madisons of the world and all those guys, Thomas Jefferson and the like. But it is a day where things are closed. I know the post offices are closed.
Yeah.
Are banks closed?
I think so, yeah. Federal holiday.
So my chance of getting money are slim.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Matt. Unrelated to what you and I usually talk about.
Right.
And banks, correct me if I'm wrong, but because of the challenge of workforce and stuff, I go to an ATM on a Monday holiday, out of money.
The ATMs?
Yeah. At a bank. Because they don't fill it up over the weekend.
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
That is wild. That's happened to you.
Oh, yeah. And are
you a big cash guy?
Not usually, but
okay.
like tonight I'm going to a dinner with some old buddies of mine, and I need some cash.
Got it.
And I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to get said cash.
Right. You're going to have to ATM hop.
Yeah. Or hit up the wife because she's always walking around with a little
cash.
money. I'm just teasing. She's not. All right. Let's get into it. You always have the great guests on Up Front, which airs across the state of Wisconsin. It's a great show. So if you want to just kind of sort of get up to speed on Wisconsin politics, great place to start. Jaron, and you do a great job. This story fascinates me. We're talking about budget surpluses and budget, all this stuff. And you had Wisconsin State Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu on the show. Mm-hmm. How would you, as a journalist, characterize that conversation as far as his take on where we're at in this story?
I mean, we're down to days, right, in terms of any type of agreement on property tax relief. He's now coming out with his own proposal. And he essentially came out and said the Senate and him as the majority leader are being left out of negotiations. And he was clear, I think, in his intent on wanting to come on the show and wanting to deliver that message. What it does long term, I'm unsure as these negotiations continue. From his perspective, at least, that's where he feels we are.
All right, so we got a couple clips. Let's play the first one, and then we'll both respond to it.
Are you talking with the Assembly and Governor about some property tax compromise?
Last week, we had a Zoom with Governor and the Speaker, and I made my pitch on where I thought my caucus was. The Speaker made his pitch of where he was, and the Governor made their pitch of where they were. And it seemed like we were all talking past each other. And since then, I have not been part of the negotiation, so I have no idea what's going on. It's unfortunate, but if the Speaker and the Governor really want to get something done and not just score political points or pressure the Senate into whatever they want to do, maybe they should include one house that needs to be part of the process.
Again, I don't want to beat up on Devin LeMahieu, the majority leader, but it sounds like, dude, you're dealing with other Republicans in the Assembly. You've worked with Robin Vos, Speaker of the Assembly, for a long time. What is the problem? I mean, maybe it's a question of, is he trying to isolate the Senate? Did you get that sense? Like, we're our own body. We all get that. Yeah. But it seemed like it's sort of an isolationist position to me.
Well, and it's coming off him proposing this idea of let's give rebate checks back to Wisconsin.
Yeah. I said budget before, but we're talking about surplus.
And as opposed to putting some of the money down on the tax levies to lower property taxes, he and the Senate are now saying, well, hey, let's just give some checks out and we'll worry about property taxes. We'll negotiate that later. So they now are somewhat on an island, he says, in terms of the negotiations. and B, what they want to do with some of this money in the projected surplus.
Yeah, I think I've come out on the show. I said it as recently as last week that I'm, as much as I understand the limitations of a check, right, like a stimulus check.
Yeah.
I think for those of us who have talked about the budget surplus as long as we've talked about it, and it's a pretty long run here now, billions of dollars, a check wouldn't be a bad thing, especially look at the political lens that I can look at in advance of a governor's race next year. It seems like a no-brainer, so maybe that's what he's thinking. He does not seem, and I'm not attacking Devin LeMahieu because I got a few of those emails over the weekend. Look, he's the majority leader. He got there for a reason. He's probably good at what he does. But it seems weak to me. One more clip we'll play, and then we can respond.
Have you talked with the Assembly or the Governor's office about this idea yet?
I pitched doing part of it as a rebate in our original meeting, and no one seemed to think that that was a good idea on that Zoom.
So who should voters blame if there's no property tax relief?
Well, I mean, the irony is, since introducing the bill yesterday, I've had quite a few members of the Assembly, Republican caucus, reach out to me and either want to be the number one on the bill, support the bill, think it's the cleanest path forward. So it'll be interesting to see how the next 4 or 5 days go.
That part's interesting because it sounds like a workaround, right? Oh, I'm not getting along with Voss. I didn't like what he was saying on the Zoom call. Let me talk to some of those members.
There's some politics behind it as well to potentially bring some of those Assembly Republicans over to their position and then pressure Speaker Voss to now adopt this rebate check idea in the final days of the session.
In the conversation you had with Wisconsin State Senate Majority Leader Devin LeMahieu, beyond what we heard, any indication that they can sort this out? Because it sounds like there's certainly a separation there.
It sounds like there's a major separation, and I think we've been here before, right? So I think there is always hope for a last-minute compromise. All of this stuff, some of the big packages, when you talk about the budget, like it does come together at the 11th hour. It is literally the final minutes, the final days of the session or the budget negotiations or what have you, that when push comes to shove, something is agreed upon. Voss seemed somewhat, he didn't completely shut the door to this rebate check idea, right? So the question is what the governor will sign. The governor has demanded there has to be education funding. The whole question about the 400-year veto lingers. And I think part of the reason LeMahieu is introducing it is he has said his caucus will not approve any package that does not repeal the 400-year veto.
Yes, I heard him say that. So I think that could be a big stumbling block. And part of me thinks that if I was going to align myself with Voss and LeMahieu with a candidate for governor, it seems to me that Devin LeMahieu is more closely aligned to Tom Tiffany than maybe Robin Voss is. Again, just pure speculation on my part. Fascinating story, but I think taxpayers in Wisconsin are saying, how about a little something for the effort?
Yeah, and if nothing happens, you have potentially $2.5 billion just sitting there for what? Another year, perhaps.
Rainy day?
A rainy day.
An extra rainy day. He is Matt Smith, political director at Channel 12 in Milwaukee. Don't forget, tell me who your favorite president is and why. 855-616-1620 as we sort of go through the show today. I should have mentioned, Kristen is off today. She's actually working. It's a working day for her. She has some events that she has to coordinate in the next few weeks, so she's working from home on that one. She'll be back tomorrow, of course. Tuesday's program. We'll take a break. Point taken. Monday edition right here on 620 WTMJ.
The dance of sunlight on water.
Shimmering, sparkling, beautiful, hypnotic.
Houses that overlook a gorgeous body of water are the most highly desired houses in the world.
The Bellamare collection of fine jewelry features classic white diamonds, flanked and surrounded by rare and exotic blue diamonds.
Bellamare means beautiful water.
Bellamare, sunlight on water, glimmering and twinkling.
The dance is enticing.
The look is spectacular.
The impact is exciting.
Blue and white diamonds created in the heart of Mother Nature
will dance and sing on the body of a glittering, sparkling woman.
Bellamare, this blue and white beauty of sunlight on water,
should be worn on the fingers,
the wrist,
the neck, and the ears
of the woman you love.
The Bellamare collection is available only at Kessler's.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
What does meaningful giving really look like? Join Annex Wealth Management for our Women in Wealth series, Giving from the Heart, where purpose meets tax planning, on February 19th in Brookfield. Enjoy dinner, refreshments, and an engaging evening on giving with intention. Hear from a local panel of nonprofit leaders as they explore today's philanthropic trends, smart charitable strategies, and how your giving can reflect your values and legacy.
Hi, I'm Maggie Tate-Techman, Executive Director at Haws. I hope to see you on February 19th. Reserve your spot on the events page at annexwealth.com.
Get inside the mind of Mark Tauscher.
If you're the head coach of the Green Bay Packers, you should be happy when other people want your coaches.
Okay.
See the world from his perspective.
And the flip side of it is nobody wants any of your guys. The same thing with players going to free agency.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, every day at 7:50.
If half your guys don't get picked up, you're probably like, well, this guy probably shouldn't have been in the league last year. We should want Jimmy Leonard to go be a head football coach.
Mark Tauscher, presented by Hello Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
It seems like in the process you've angered a good number of Democrats in the legal argument saying that absentee voting is a privilege.
So I want to be clear. I have never said that absentee voting is a privilege. I do not believe that absentee voting is a privilege. I understand, and I'm not a lawyer, but I understand that the state law says that absentee voting is a privilege. I disagree with that. I think the law should change.
So is it used that argument to ensure you win in court?
So again, saying that that's what the state law says does not equate to us believing that that's right.
Madison Mayor Setya Rhodes Conway, it's an interesting, because she acknowledges the state law.
Yeah.
But then it feels differently, but that's not how it works, especially in legal cases.
And she's angered a lot of Democrats in making this argument. This is the lawsuit. The city of Madison's being sued over not counting those nearly 200 absentee ballots in the 2024 presidential
And some people might
election.
think old story, but not really.
No, because this lawsuit is active. And just last week, a judge rejected the city's attempt to end it. And the judge says, no, this is going forward. And part of the argument the city of Madison is using is that absentee voting is a privilege and not a constitutional right.
It's the whole thing seems like a challenge to get to the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Am I reading that right?
Well, I mean, possibly. And the whole premise of the lawsuit, which the city is arguing against, is that these voters are seeking monetary damages because their vote was not counted. And the city says, whoa, listen, we apologized. We've put reforms in place. We can't fork out millions of dollars for what they call what they call a mistake that they say they have corrected.
I don't know if it came up in the conversation or not, but is there historical precedent, legal precedent on any of this stuff?
I don't think a lot. And we talked with the attorney representing this, and yes, there's a lot of case law, but in terms of like actual cases like this, it's unusual, right? Where you have nearly 200 ballots that don't go counted. So like the scenario in and of itself is not that typical.
Is there are there now safeguards? I've read some of the stuff from the Wisconsin Elections Commission on this, and they have a strong take as well.
Very.
Safeguards in place to make sure this doesn't happen again.
Yeah, so they've kind of gone through this process, and the Elections Commission has said, yes, the city is complying. There's a new clerk who's overseeing this and coming up to speed. Their main criticism has been toward the mayor and the way she's publicly talked about not only the case, but now this lawsuit. Some on the commission, some other Democrats think that she's being very dismissive of what happened.
One does think about the big picture story, whether at some point, maybe the U.S. Supreme Court, because we're certainly not talking about a president who's trying to implement some changes in how we conduct elections at the state level, when that's sort of over the skis of what the federal government and the president can actually do, that there is some questions looming out there on how voting applications, types of voting are actually implemented.
Yeah, and the mayor made the larger point in our interview that, hey, listen, if the city loses in this and has to fork out millions of dollars, not only that, her concern, she says, is that clerks across the state might become scared that if they make a mistake on processing absentee ballots, they're going to get sued. So then maybe they just don't offer absentee voting because of that fear. Others would dispute that, but that is a position the mayor's taking about potential ripple effects of what this lawsuit could do.
He is Matt Smith, political director at Channel 12 in Milwaukee, and you can see up front all across the state on various stations. We'll take a quick break here. Our last segment with Matt Smith coming up after this on 620 WTMJ.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at the Neal Group. Happy New Year. Hopefully you enjoyed the holidays and spent time relaxing. Now it's tax time. I know. It's not the most wonderful time of the year, wondering if you are getting a refund or money to the IRS or to the state, waiting for all the forms to come and wondering what is deductible. Control the situation instead of letting it control you. Let us help you understand all the new tax laws, how they affect you, and how to take advantage of them. Last year, we helped Janet and Norm go from owing $43,000 to getting a $500 refund. We can help you too. The first meeting is free. Call now, 414-325-2040, or visit neilgroup.net. You earned it. We help you keep it. That's 414-325-2040 or nealgroup.net.
You've seen us around town, volunteering, supporting events, and showing up where it matters. At Waterstone Bank, we're more than a bank. We're your neighbor. The money you deposit stays local, helping small businesses, creating jobs, and supporting home ownership. It's banking from the community for the community. Visit your local branch or WSBOnline.com to see how we're building a stronger southeastern Wisconsin, one neighbor at a time. Waterstone Bank, member FDIC.
We see you out there doing things your way, which is why you shop at Blaine's Farm and Fleet, because you know we've supplied generations of farms and families with everything you need at prices that make the most of your money. Like $10 off select Blaine's brand tractor fluid. Awards members save an extra $2. $5 off assorted AgriMaster calf milk replacers. And assorted Nutrina livestock feeds $4 off. In-store or online, we've got the value you need to do things your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Be an original.
February means big savings at Exterior Pros and Baths. Upgrade your home with energy-efficient windows, durable roofing, new siding, or a beautiful bath makeover and get $3,000 off your project. That's $3,000 in instant savings, but only for a limited time during our February winter savings event. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com now. Exterior Pros and Baths. Big savings done right.
We get it. You're on the go, and life gets in the way. Stay up to date on all things WTMJ with podcasts of every show. Available on WTMJ.com. And don't forget you can stream WTMJ online and watch your favorite WTMJ shows on YouTube. Every show, when you want it, no matter where you are. We are Wisconsin's radio station, News Radio 620 WTMJ.
No matter what people are saying publicly, on the court record where it mattered, there were arguments that when absentee ballots are not counted, it doesn't violate voters' right to vote. And that's just plain wrong.
At what point does an election mistake equate to potentially millions of dollars in payouts?
So exactly where the line is, you're always going to have trouble with a lawyer to really draw it for you. But I can say in this case, if you just look at the facts, it seems pretty clear to me that this is such a case. Again, it wasn't just one vote, and it wasn't as though a single vote wasn't seen. Again, 193 votes were found with enough time to count them, but they didn't do anything.
That is law forward attorney Scott Thompson. And it is an interesting case because, as we were talking about before, I don't know if there's a lot of historical precedent or not, but if you're going to start compensating people for ballots that aren't counted, I would think at a smaller scale, maybe not 193, but this happens fairly regularly, and then so everybody can sue and then get money. That's the challenge.
Yeah, it is the challenge, right? Yeah.
What are you going to do here?
And whether this sets precedent or not, and whether this, there could be a ton of ripple effects to this.
Yeah, and as a former mayor who handled budgets, this stuff, you don't have a lot of extra money for this stuff, to pay out money.
Yeah. I mean, you have insurance, but you're right. There's not
insurance costs money too.
There's not millions sitting aside for a what if scenario, right?
Yeah, this is actually, it's a really fascinating case. I'm glad you spent so much time on it because it does sort of point to something. Two things. One, we need our elections to be really safe and secure, and every ballot's counted. Yeah. Every vote counts, as we often hear. But two, the process has to be ensured that we're not doing what happened in Madison. And then the last piece, of course, and the courts ultimately will decide this at what level. We'll find out, Wisconsin Supreme or U.S. Supreme. What's the compensation for a ballot not counted?
Right.
And it's almost not the same thing, but like if someone sends a ballot and it doesn't get processed by the USPS or whatever, that often doesn't get counted.
Right.
So can they sue? They didn't process my ballot in time, therefore I should sue them. Fascinating stuff. Good stuff. All right, so we got a couple minutes.
Yeah.
What are you working on this week?
It's going to be a busy
Matt
week
Smith,
at the
by
state
the way.
capitol. The governor delivers his final State of the State address
I saw
tomorrow.
That. Yeah.
So not only that, but I think we could potentially see some red lines from the governor on this whole property tax negotiation, right? Like what he needs to see in terms of education funding or how far he's willing to go with the surplus and what else he says in his final address. I think will just be a fascinating endnote to as we now look ahead to November.
I know the governor doesn't like the term lame duck, but this is his last year. But he's going to be around for a while.
Yeah.
He's
we got the rest of the year still.
Yeah,
right?
so I think in many ways, two things. One, I think it's going to be Tony Evers, as he always is, because his demeanor doesn't change much.
Right.
But I would not be surprised, built within the state of the state, he takes a few jabs at the other side.
We could see that. Yeah.
Politics is politics, right?
Politics, yes. Especially in the state we are in. And it'll be curious to see how much he talks the moment we're in, just in terms of the property taxes and how much he references Trump. And if he references the Trump administration, it'll be a fascinating address.
Another thing to look, see if he does talk about what happened in Minnesota and whatever Wisconsin impact that could have going forward. I know you had the ABC News political director on, Avery Harper. Shutdown related?
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, Congress is out this week, so DHS funding is not going to get resolved.
Yeah, no work to do this week?
At least this week. So we're on the President's Day vacation.
Yes.
For Congress. So it'll be curious to see, like, if we have any real, actual implications since it's so partial this time. Obviously, TSA is impacted. So if we start to see travel problems or what have you, that's going to be, I think, the first ripple effects in terms of the public. ICE has received funding from the Big Beautiful Bill. So, there is money out there, but we're in a spot where it doesn't seem there are negotiations going, but it could be a ways.
I sort of unplugged over the weekend, but has there been any reports of impact because of TSA yet?
I haven't heard any yet. And usually, as we've seen, it takes a little bit of time for that to percolate. But we'll have to see what action or inaction Congress and the White House take over the coming days.
Matt Smith, political director at Channel 12 and host of Upfront along with Jaron Jordan. All right, enjoy the nice weather.
Yes.
No coat required for me today. I saw you wore
I
one.
brought one in, but I regretted it, so I'm not going to wear it on the way out.
I left mine at home.
Good choice.
All right, we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. Have a good week.
I'm here by myself, so I'm going to spend some time on crime in the next half hour with some interesting tangents on that. Local news coming up with Connie Weber. Here's now the latest from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. Opening statements beginning in Georgia, where Colin Gray, the father of a school shooting suspect, is facing trial. Prosecutors are expected to argue that Gray gave his 14-year-old son Colt the murder weapon, a semi-automatic rifle, as a Christmas gift, even though the father received, quote, sufficient warning that Colt Gray would harm and endanger the bodily safety of another. Investigators citing multiple examples, including what they say was a shrine in the teenager's bedroom dedicated to a previous mass shooter. Another round of negotiations regarding Iran's nuclear program beginning this week. That as the U.S. ramps up its military presence in the region. The mother of Today host Savannah Guthrie putting out another video asking whoever has knowledge of where Nancy Guthrie is to, quote, do the right thing. Evacuation warnings in place right now for several of the burn scars around Los Angeles as rain pelts Southern California. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 1031. I'm Connie Weber. The Eric Mendoza trial was set to begin today. Both parties reached a resolution. Mendoza entered guilty pleas to first-degree intentional homicide, hiding a corpse, and 3 counts of second-degree recklessly endangering safety while armed. 1 child abuse count was dismissed and read in. The state recommends life with eligibility after 50 years. The judge accepted the plea and ordered remand without bail, sentencing set for June. Mendoza was 15 when prosecutors say he strangled and beat 5-year-old Prince McCree to death in October of 2023. David Pitura serving life in prison after he pleaded guilty to first-degree intentional homicide in that case. Republican Party of Eau Claire County offering a $1,000 reward for information after their headquarters was vandalized. Post on their Facebook page shows red spray paint graffiti across the office's entrance reading, "Pedophile protectors." Eggs were also thrown against the building. Altoona police are investigating. The famous ice caves of the Apostle Islands National Lakeshore Outdoor welcomed visitors for the first time in over a decade. National Park Service reopening the caves near Bayfield today. Warm winters have made it unsafe to hike along Lake Superior since 2015, but extreme cold this January allowed more than half of the lake to freeze. Park officials caution conditions can change rapidly and access may close suddenly if conditions deteriorate. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. And no market activity today. Markets closed for President's Day. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Take a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Just a couple of disabled vehicles. It looks like they are both off right. One is going to be I-43 South, about a half mile beyond the ramp from Moreland Road. The other, I-41 South, a half mile beyond the ramp from Capitol Drive. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Mostly sunny, mild today, high 60. Increasing cloudiness tonight, low 34. Chance of afternoon or evening rain tomorrow, high 45. Rain Wednesday morning, sunshine in the afternoon with a high 56 on Wednesday. Possible wintry mix late Thursday into Friday. Thursday's high 46, Friday's high 40. It is 41 in Madison, 47 in Green Bay, 49 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 10:33.
You've spent a lifetime taking care of others. Now it's your turn to enjoy life your way. At Capri Communities, they offer vibrant senior living where neighbors become friends, and each day brings something to smile about.
Well, it's breakfast with the boys, and then bingo is at 3 in the afternoon. I lost that super lady I lived with for 60 years, but have found a home and doing well. The accommodations, the facilities, it's been a pleasure.
Find your perfect new home at capricommunities.com.
So, Alex, why don't you tell us about Lion's Tail?
We've been brewing for 10 years, and now we're busy expanding into Milwaukee, trying to get on every shelf of every store and on tap at every restaurant.
How has Horicon Bank been a part of your story?
Horicon Bank understands the needs of small businesses versus working with a big bank. Horicon, they're much like a small business, just like we are. I know most of the people on that team. It's nice working with someone that understands your business.
Recently, a seller that unfortunately ended up choosing another agent called me. She said she made a mistake, and what she was expressing to me sounded like she kind of was bullied into signing with him. Is it typical? Not always, but it will never happen when you hire a Century 21 Benefit Realty agent. I want our agents to be able to look in the mirror and say, I'd want to work with me. Not because they're good at saying what you want to hear or offer the lowest commission, but because of trust. Because if you're not feeling that from your agent, that's a problem. And I don't want that. At 1.9% on the listing side of your sale with our commission capped at $19,000, Century 21 Benefit Realty leads with a very fair and transparent commission structure with maximum marketing that can get your home sold fast and for the best price. And saving money matters, but working with someone who will tell you exactly what you need to know up front, that creates trust. And that matters too. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Yes, whenever I'm alone, I like to play around. Kristen is off today. How do you not love that song? God, doesn't it just get you? I wanted to get out of my chair. Awesome, awesome thought. How is your Tuesday going? Happy President's Day. It's actually George Washington's birthday, my favorite president. And I've been asking everybody, who's your favorite president? An interesting sort of running commentary on the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talking text line 855-616-1620. Abraham Lincoln, it's an Illinois thing. I get that. Great president, 16th president. This is the fascinating part about the text line, and this will not surprise you. I've got both worst president, Donald Trump, greatest president ever, Donald Trump, in the same text exchange. How about that? What else do we have in here? Any other? Let me see. A lot of Lincolns, a lot of Washingtons. Let's just see quickly who we had. Barack Obama got some love as well. Not that long ago. 2008 and 2012, 2 terms. Saw he was at, I think, the NBA All-Star game, getting some love there. Still a popular president. Also, because I searched this on ChatGPT this morning, he's one of those rare presidents that hits the top 5 for some people and also in the bottom 5. So, split ticket, to use a political term. So I told Kristen I might do this week. It's an interesting conversation. It has to do with crime. So if I were to ask you, those of you in Point Taken land, where do you think the crime numbers are right now? You can choose Milwaukee. You can choose national numbers, big city numbers. I've got some numbers I'll drop on you in a second. I will say that Milwaukee's sort of an outlier because I'll give this away to you. When it comes to murders, the trend is not good. Other kinds of crime other than reckless driving and, those types of crimes are generally down in Milwaukee, which is a good thing. But murder, which is the sort of the linchpin of a safe community, I would argue, especially big cities, Milwaukee is sort of the outlier. Why do I say that? So I just did some quick searches this morning, thanks again to ChatGPT. According to the FBI, let's go back to 2024. Violent crime decreased about 4.5%. Property crime, theft, burglary, all that stuff dropped by 8%. Numbers still being sort of assimilated, I think that's the right word, for 2025. Most categories of crime down significantly. This is one of those dazzling details that I think might surprise you, but maybe not. Homicides nationally down 21%. And here's the kicker on top of that one. Preliminary estimates for 2025 that are still being sorted out. That was 2024 numbers I gave you. 2025, another 20%. So that's sort of the templates for where crime is going as far as just the stats. Now, your perception obviously can differ depending on where you live, the level of crime in your neighborhood or your community or your city or your state or your country. But generally, overall, on some of the big numbers when it comes to crime, they're going down. So here's where it gets interesting. For me, maybe you, 855-616-1620. Donald Trump, actually, he'll start with the Democrats first. It puts the Democrats in a tough position. Why do I say that? Because it's hard to argue with success. And whatever measure you want to use, whether it's homicides, burglary, property theft, carjackings, reckless driving. And again, Milwaukee's the outlier because some of those numbers aren't as good in Milwaukee as they are in other big cities across the country. It's hard to argue with success. Crime numbers are down. Now, Texter correctly points out they've been dropping significantly since about 2020. Who was president in 2020? It's not a test. We can all figure it out. So maybe Joe Biden gets some credit for that. Perhaps. But this president, here's the Republican challenge. What has this president, Donald J. Trump, been talking about? Crime is up. It's a dangerous country. Our streets aren't safe. Big cities, got to flood them. Got to clean it up. So it is somewhat specious to argue that everything's bad when the numbers suggest the alternative is actually true. 855-616-1620, the Siding Unlimited WTMJ Talking text line. Where do you go with this? I don't think anybody is going to argue with lower crime numbers. That's a win across the board. Don't care about your politics. Don't care. Do not care. On this issue or any issue. Don't care. You vote the way you want to vote. All I'm saying is inconsistency from the president. Crime's bad when the numbers suggest the otherwise. And on the other side, How do you argue, Democrats, that we need you in office because you're going to fix the crime problem? Well, it's already fixed, right? It's going down. Trend is good. The graph shows a downward pointing line or arrow. That's good things. I'm curious what you think. Who gets the credits? Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Dems, Repubs, law enforcement? Ding, ding, ding. That might be the answer. I could argue that answer. What do you think? 855-616-1620. A Christian-less edition of Point Taken. But we're still here. And you are too. So let's talk about it after this.
What does meaningful giving really look like? Join Annex Wealth Management for our Women in Wealth series, Giving from the Heart, where purpose meets tax planning, on February 19th in Brookfield. Enjoy dinner, refreshments, and an engaging evening on giving with intention. Hear from a local panel of nonprofit leaders as they explore today's philanthropic trends, smart charitable strategies, and how your giving can reflect your values and legacy.
Hi, I'm Maggie Tate-Techman, Executive Director at Haws. I hope to see you on February 19th. Reserve your spot on the events page at annexwealth.com.
Hey, WTMJ, Steve Scaffidi for Fleet Farm. How about this? You got a project waiting at home, DIY days. Yes, DIY days at Fleet Farm is the perfect time to get started. Drill into the great deals on power tools, need them, workwear, always, storage, who doesn't need more storage, and more only at Fleet Farm. Shop and save on the best tools for your job during the DIY Days sale at Fleet Farm. Milwaukee Deal Days are going on now, too, at Fleet Farm. Shop in store to find exclusive savings on performance-driven power tool combos, accessories, and more from a brand you can count on. Hurry in during Milwaukee Deal Days now through Sunday, this Sunday, only at Fleet Farm. Chick Days are at Fleet Farm, and they're taking pre-orders. Order from your over 60 different breeds. Start your chicken journey with confidence. That's very popular. Fleet Farm has you covered for every step of the way. Visit fleetfarm.com to pre-order live chicks today and check out their upcoming seminar schedule.
Struggling to provide for your family is a real thing, like having to choose between feeding them a warm meal or paying the utility bill. These are the choices many Milwaukee residents are faced with, which is why they turn to St. Vincent de Paul Society's meal program for help. Our meal program has been a consistent resource for those in need for over 42 years. Nutritious meals, warm showers, and clean clothes, all in a safe, family-friendly environment. Our mission is clear, and that's to help you break the cycle of poverty by connecting you with life-changing community and educational resources. Last year, we provided $2.2 million in goods and services, plus 57,000 warm meals. If you or anyone you know needs a warm evening meal, you can find us at Harambe Kitchen 5 nights a week on the northeast side of Milwaukee in the basement of All People's Church. And at Crossroads Kitchen on the south side of Milwaukee 6 nights a week on 9th and Madison. As always, we're grateful for community members and volunteers who help us help you. To learn more, visit svdpmilw.org.
Imagine unpacking once and waking up somewhere new every morning. That's river cruising with Avalon and Fox World Travel. From castles along the Rhine to cafes on the Danube, Avalon's spacious ships put Europe right outside your window. Slower travel, deeper connections, and unforgettable views. Ready to let Europe come to you? Press the easy button and let Fox World Travel plan it all for you. Call 866-GO-FOX-GO to book your storybook vacation today.
Celebrate Fat Tuesday with Paunchkis from Wisconsin's legendary O&H Danish Bakery. Yes, O&H is so much more than famous Kringles. Choose from 10 delicious Paunchki varieties, including the exciting new flavor, Dulce de Leche. Of course, O&H will also have classic favorites like raspberry, cherry, and Bavarian cream. Only available for one day, Fat Tuesday. So call and place your order ASAP, 262-504-7000. Or visit O&H Danish Bakery in Racine, Oak Creek, or Sturtevant and taste the difference of bakery made from scratch.
Beautiful and safe. Decks built to last by Outdoor Living Unlimited, Wisconsin's #1 TimberTech deck installation team. For amazing ideas, go to our Outdoor Living Unlimited Instagram page. For a free estimate, go to OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
Happy President's Day. Happy birthday, George Washington. I'm biased because I love George Washington, and I've been to Mount Vernon many times. His home, and if you've never been, you should go there. You should schedule a trip. It is absolutely amazing, and I know we have a lot of local folks who are involved with the Ladies Association there who sort of have maintained that, brought it back from, it was sort of dilapidated and falling apart. They brought it back and now restored it, and on a trip I think it's now 2 summers ago. Yeah, it'd be 2024. Kathy and I went and got sort of the behind-the-scenes tour, including in the basement, which they filmed, what's the movie with Nick Cage? Is it National Treasure? I think it is. If I'm not, someone will correct me on the text line. It is sort of an amazing place. And somebody asked me why I like George Washington. Well, when he was the first, he's a man who was not perfect. He owned slaves. And that is something also that Mount Vernon does very well. They honor those individuals who gave their lives in the service to our first president. Revered by many people, he was a master at strategic military maneuvers, just way ahead of his time. I often imagine what George Washington would be like now. He stood tall. I think 6'3" or 6'4", maybe 6'5". He was courageous, obviously, disciplined, dignified. Why do I bring those terms up? Because I think that's missing in many leaders now. Often, and we're a highly critical society now, and we like to focus on the negative and the bad, but I just don't see that type of and style of leadership. And as somebody who led our forces in the Revolutionary War and crafted and cobbled together this country and our government with a lot of help, Thomas Jefferson and Madison and a lot of other people, put an amazing thing together. And I've often said this on this show and other shows I've done in the past. I don't know if we could do that today. The revolution is hard. Look how it doesn't happen very often in our world, even in oppressive countries. Iran being one of the latest examples, or Venezuela, if you want to choose that one, where we have a people in those countries who want different style and type of leadership, but they're, in my opinion, not willing to take that next step, which is revolution. And again, not easy. But what was required, if you've seen the Ken Burns masterpiece on this on PBS, I encourage you to watch it because it's both reflective, it's critical. It certainly focuses. I think some of the first words spoken in that is the words of indigenous leaders who said, "We know this country's great," and they were curious on how that would affect them, and we sort of know how that story played out. But the other word for Washington, I know I've kind of gotten off topic because I want to get back to crime here. Ethical behavior by a president is something that I think we should respect from a leader. Again, George Washington wasn't perfect. None of our leaders are. No one is perfect. But he was a leader that was respected by the men who served him at the time, respected by the government that he helped create. And I think his legacy is one that suggests that's the standard. That's the gold standard. And I don't see that in the leadership that we highlight on this show and other shows. I don't see that style demonstrated anymore. It's more of a name-calling, hypercritical, hyper-partisan, we have all the answers, the other side is evil, that, not just in politics, but in talk radio or any commentary that happens on politics on TV as well. And it's just so lazy. It's anti-intellectual because it plays to the worst fears, it plays to the sort of the absurdity of how we talk about politics now. And when you have a leader, pick one, who don't demonstrate the standards of a George Washington or Abraham Lincoln for that matter, you sort of get what you get. And while I will always be critical of leaders in today's world, I would just like to see someone step up that we could all recognize is worth the follow. I'll get back to crime after this quick break here on Point Taken on 620 WTMJ.
Half of American parents cannot afford diapers. Hi, this is WTMJ's Kristen Bry. This spring, WTMJ and the Milwaukee Diaper Mission are teaming up to change that. Join me for WTMJ Cares Bowling for Babies, where we will raise funds for Milwaukee Diaper Mission. Register to bowl with us on March 7th at Village Bowl in Menominee Falls. Registration is now open. Go to WTMJcares.com to sign up. Act quickly, teams will fill up fast. It's WTMJ Cares Bowling for Babies to help the Milwaukee Diaper Mission.
Hey, this Valentine's month. Oh, by the way, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi. Milwaukee Weight Loss is sharing the love. Yes, $300 off during their Valentine's sale now through the last day of February 28th. It's the perfect time to fall in love with the results you get from Milwaukee Weight Loss and their great program. They have the secret to losing 1 pound of fat every day with no exercise and no prepackaged meals, no counting points or calories, no drugs, no surgery, no injections. I did it last year, lost 45 pounds. I'm back in it again. My goal is to lose 20 more pounds. I'm around 5 of the 20. A little slower this time because it's a little bit harder when you've lost the weight before. But I'm gonna stay with it, lose the 20. Whether you want to look great for Valentine's Day, upcoming event, reunion, class reunions, big wedding, big trip, you can start losing those pounds now. Show yourself some love. $300 off right now. Valentine's sale ends February 28th. Here's what I want you to do. You can lose 20 to 30 pounds. Most people do. Call for your free consultation. 262-449-1180. That's 262-449-1180 or visit MilwaukeeWeightLoss.com.
It's here on consignment from over 10,000 nationwide partners. From very high-end, distinctive furniture, unique antiques and original art, to tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. Premium home decor priced right at 25 to 40% off retail prices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Smart interior designers know that what they'll see here is going to be almost impossible to find anywhere else, especially at our consignment prices. Premium home decor that's gently loved and close to new. And what we carry can raise the wow factor of anyone's home decor. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Do you have a spot that's too cold in the winter, but if you jack up the heat, the rest of the house is too warm? Vince Vitrano for USA Insulation. Time to get Jeff and his team out to your house. Proper insulation from USA forms a thermal barrier that maintains warmth in the winter and coolness in the summer. Time to get in on thousands of dollars of government efficiency credits. Jeff and his team at USA Insulation find the grants, rebates, reductions, and they discount the cost of your project up front. Get started at usainsulation.net.
USA Insulation.
Skylight Music Theater presents The Spitfire Grill, a heartfelt Wisconsin-born musical of redemption and second chances. This 25th anniversary production features a 5-piece band. The Spitfire Grill, February 27th through March 15th. Tickets at skylightmusictheater.org.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
All right, happy President's Day. Happy birthday, George Washington. My favorite president got a lot for Teddy Roosevelt. Rough Rider. And a great president. Interesting commentary in the text line, so I'll sample some of it. I think this is from the 414. I think presidents take too much credit for good crime numbers and the economy. I think the current president ignores the stats to advance his own agenda. Probably true because, as I said, crime is down generally, especially murder across the country, homicide. And if you are trying to prove a point politically, often you disregard the data that's supposed to back that up. But the reason I brought this up is because I think it presents the challenge of discussing politics in the current climate. We have many people, and raise your hand out there in Radio Land if you're one of these people. The other side sucks. Whether you're a Democrat thinking of that about Republicans or vice versa. And you refuse to acknowledge anything that makes that argument waver. And I think when you have declining crime numbers, however you think that happened, and there's some interesting commentary that somebody suggested, the drop in overdoses, the war on drugs, which we've seen and is real, perhaps that has played to it. And it's not direct causation, but with things like crystal meth, heroin in communities, urban and rural, There can be a direct link between burglary, theft, some of the property crimes, and the use of those drugs. So that's another cause and effect. Somebody challenged me on the law enforcement piece. I would argue that if you talk to police chiefs, a sort of renewed focus on community-oriented policing is part of that as well. Interesting debate. We'll probably get back to it. I want to do a podcast on it as well because I think it shows the problem with discussing crime in the era of hyper-partisan politics. It's not that easy. So one side or the other arguments often fail. This is a great example of why that's the case. Another hour of just me, but Dave Spano is going to be joining me after the news, which is next on 620 WTMJ.
Did you have folks over for the holidays this season and maybe even had family staying at the house and you wished you'd called my team at Horner Plumbing before that? Leaky faucet or downstairs shower doesn't work? Vince Vitrano here. That is not convenient. It can be embarrassing. So let's get that fixed with a timely project from my team at Horner Plumbing. They've done great work for a fair price in the Vitrano home, and that's what you can expect from this local family-owned company. That's what we do here in Wisconsin. We support our own with our hard-earned dollars. Horner, family-owned and operated, serving southeast Wisconsin since 1969. That's more than half a century of building the best reputation in the industry. When you call my team at Horner Plumbing, commercial or residential, big project or small, you get prompt service, honest pricing, and integrity. And let's be honest, if you're not offering those things, you're not going to be around for more than 50 years. Horner Plumbing, the preferred plumbing company since 1969. Let's get that project started. Tell them Vinny sent you. HornerPlumbing.com.
Nestled in the heart of the Kettle Moraine Forest lies the historic Fox and Hounds Supper Club. WTMJ's John Mercure here. I love the Fox and Hounds. Journey through 90 years of history in the timbered stone structure. It's gorgeous. And when you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free 7 days a week. An amazing deal at an amazing place. Choice steaks, ribs, seafood, pasta, a big fresh salad, even the steak and lobster, any entree, your second dinner's free. The Fox and Hounds desserts, and I love those, and huge ice cream drinks, buy one, get one free. Unwind with an old-fashioned, a Manhattan, 20 bourbons on their bourbon list, over 100 fine wines, 8 elegant dining rooms with real wood-burning fireplaces. Wherever you live, it's worth the spectacular drive through the Kettle Moraine for your free dinner. Just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of Holy Hill, a Top Choice Award winner for fine dining and most romantic restaurant. Take your family to the Fox and Hounds this week. Half your dinners are free. I love this place. FoxandHoundsRestaurant.com.
February means big savings at Exterior Pros and Baths. Upgrade your home with energy-efficient windows, durable roofing, new siding, or a beautiful bath makeover and get $3,000 off your project. That's $3,000 in instant savings, but only for a limited time during our February winter savings event. Call 262-800-4274 or visit extpros.com now. Exterior Pros and Baths. Big savings done right.
Hey, sports fans, listen up. WTMJ's Greg Matzik here. Celebrate our friends at Palermo's during the big international hockey tournament throughout the week. I'll be cheering on our team with Palermo's. The result? Well, that doesn't matter because Screamin' Sicilian Tavern-style pizzas now just $5.99 at Metcalf's through the 18th of February. We're talking about thin, crispy crust, bold, and piled high toppings, and an unbeatable flavor in every bite. Win the gold with Screamin' Sicilian. More toppings, more flavor. More is amore. Wisconsin's hometown pizza, Palermo's.
Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
11:01, we're at 51 degrees. It's going to be sunny, nice today with a high of 60 from the WTMJ Breaking News Center. I'm Connie Weber. A man accused of killing a 5-year-old boy and disposing his body in a dumpster in Milwaukee pleads guilty. Eric Mendoza was 15 years old when prosecutors say he strangled and beat 5-year-old Prince McCree to death in October of 2023. Mendoza pled guilty to first-degree intentional homicide, hiding a corpse, and 3 counts of second-degree recklessly endangering safety while armed. He'll be sentenced in June. David Petro Couture is already serving life in prison after he pled guilty to first-degree intentional homicide in the same case. The search for the mother of Today co-anchor Savannah Guthrie's entered another week in southern Arizona. Nancy Guthrie has been missing since February 1st. The Pima County Sheriff's Department says it's tracking all leads in the case. A glove containing DNA evidence that was recovered roughly 2 miles from Guthrie's home appears consistent with the glove worn by a person seen in that doorbell camera video from the morning of her disappearance. Today in Georgia, opening statements in the trial of the father of school shooting suspect Colin Gray, facing 29 charges for allegedly supplying the murder weapon, even though there were signs his son would inflict harm with it. Here's ABC's Faith Abube.
The deadly rampage unfolding in September 2024. Investigators say the teenager entered Appalachia High School with the AR-15 style rifle in his backpack and unleashed terror in the building. His father's trial coming as prosecutors across the country are increasingly holding parents liable for their children's alleged involvement in school shootings. Jennifer and James Crumbly were the first to be convicted in the U.S. after their son Ethan killed 4 students inside a Michigan high school.
Charges against Gray include second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter. Partial government shutdown now into day 3 after funding for the Department of Homeland Security ran out at the end of last week. ABC's Gio Benitez says the shutdown could eventually start affecting the pay of TSA workers like it did during the shutdown last year when they were forced to work without pay.
Many TSA workers, they called out sick, and that's the concern here. TSA workers got paid this past week. They're going to get another check in 2 weeks, and then it would be another 2 weeks after that when they would get their first zero check. That puts us right up against peak spring break travel time. Air traffic controllers, they're not affected by this, but airlines could still delay flights if they're waiting on too many passengers to clear security.
The shutdown will carry into next week. Congress failed to reach a deal over the weekend. They're now in a week-long recess. Democrats and Republicans remain far apart on key issues, including immigration enforcement reform demands from Democrats. California vibes coming to the Wisconsin State Fair. Beach Boys will celebrate 250 years of the USA and 60 years of Pet Sounds Sunday, August 16th, last night of the fair. Tickets go on sale this Friday, February 20th. The 175th Wisconsin State Fair starts August 6th. Time for news about your money in the WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. It is a holiday. Markets closed today for President's Day. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Sports, traffic, and weather up next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:04.
At Capri Communities, they believe people of every age deserve to enjoy life.
I recently moved my dad into a Capri community. He has gained such new independence. His falls have decreased, he's eating healthy meals, and going on great new adventures. Knowing Dad is in a great place really gives me the peace of mind I needed. And now, we're both enjoying life again.
Give the care that has your parent enjoying life again at Capri Communities. Get started today at capricommunities.com.
MW Marine.
Fishermen, tired of winter? Come in from the cold at MW Marine this Saturday, starting at 11 a.m. for a free fishing seminar. Meet Captain Doug Klett, Mercury Pro, as he breaks down springtime muskies on Lake Geneva, where to find them and how to get them to bite. Then check out boats, upgrades, and accessories to get your rig ready for the season. It's free and no reservations required. MW Marine.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Inspired Closets, something that can positively affect your mood, getting organized and clearing out the clutter. A well-rounded closet could be the most powerful room in your home. Inspired Closets can transform your closets or laundry room, your pantry, any space in your house. What separates Inspired Closets from the others? Their 3D design software and a culture that promises to build what you want and need. Call my friends Katie and Dan today, a wife-husband team ready to help. Inspired Days start in Inspired Closets. InspiredClosetsMilwaukee.com.
Day after day, year after year, the heavy lifting, the repetitive motion, and now your body feels it. Your back, your knees, your quality of life.
At Access Legal, we stand up for people worn down by work.
Workers' comp is our sole focus, and our team has recovered more than $35 million for Wisconsin workers. From sudden accidents to pain that builds over years of hard work, we're dedicated to fighting for the benefits you're entitled to. If you've been worn down by work, contact Access Legal for a risk-free consultation.
Search AXIS Legal today.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Bucks continue their all-star break. Milwaukee returns to the floor Friday for an away game against the Pelicans. Milwaukee men's basketball team secured a home victory, beating Green Bay 75-72. Wisconsin women's basketball team lost its sixth straight. The Badgers lost to Minnesota 83-60 at home. Badger Sports Update sponsored by Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more. Spring training, Brewers have their first full squad session on Tuesday. They begin Cactus League play Saturday against the Guardians. Take a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. It is pretty quiet out there. We do have a disabled vehicle off on the right shoulder, I-41 south at County Road E. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Sunny, mild today with a high of 60. Increasing cloudiness overnight with a low of 34. Mostly cloudy tomorrow, a chance for afternoon or evening rain, a high of 45. Rain Wednesday morning, then sunshine returns in the afternoon. High Wednesday, 56 degrees. Thursday, mostly cloudy. We have a chance for a rain and snow mix in the afternoon and evening. High Thursday of 46. That wintry mix then stretches into Friday with a high of 40. Madison at 53, Green Bay 49, Milwaukee 51 degrees. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:08.
The work week is here. Let's begin with your Monday market preview with Annex Wealth Management CEO Dave Spano on Point Taken.
Oh, why not? Happy President's Day, Dave Spano. How are you?
Happy President's Day to you as well. Thank you.
It's been a while since we've talked.
Yeah, you were gone. How was it?
Mexico is always fun and all-inclusive. You know that. You've probably been a few of those, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Hard not to like warmer weather in the winter, although this recent weather we've had here is outstanding. All right, let's get to it, Dave. So,
yes, sir.
One of the things that I often when you're on or Brian Jacobson, Dr. Jacobson's on, I get texters and emails that ask me questions, and I kept this one. And it has to do with where we're at in the economy. And there's a lot to this, obviously, our economy. And we often, even people who do what I do, tend to oversimplify. But are we a have and have not economy? Because Kristen and I both notice when we travel, there's this overspending on flights and trips and stuff we do and attractions. But yet we hear that, the economy's tough. Is it any different than it was, let's say, 20 years ago? Is it different as far as you know?
Yeah, it is different. And, we've often talked about the K-shaped economy where the upper income are really driving the consumer spending, which, of course, is about 2/3 of the GDP in this country. And the GDP had a really good quarter. And so you look at it and go, okay, where is this happening and why is this happening? And we can get into a long conversation, today about populism. But math is often helpful in some of these examples. And so you go, yes, you're seeing these people travel. You're seeing a lot of spending from some people when the bottom 50% are not doing that. But you talk about the expansion or retraction of the middle class. And I hear that often. And so we've had our team, Brian Jacobson, the PhDs on our team, do some math. And what's really interesting is, yes, the middle class has shrunk since the 1970s. There's little doubt about that. But where did they go? And if you look at the math, middle class was approximately 61% of all the classes, if you put them in three classes, if you will, middle, upper, and lower income. The middle class has decreased by 11%. Well, where did they go? And so I think people automatically go to the negative and go, that 11% must have moved downhill. Well, that's not the case. 75% of that 11% that has shrunk from the middle class has moved to the upper middle and the upper middle class. And so what was 61% in the 70s of middle class is now 50%. What was 11% of upper and upper middle is now 19%. So that 11% delta, 75% of that has gone to the middle class. Now, unfortunately, the lower class, and it sounds silly to talk about them in class, but if you do about in income levels,
there's got to be a line somewhere. Yes.
Yeah. And so the income number that people have under air quotes lower class here has increased, and that is a problem, and that is really why you're starting to see populism. You see Trump. I mean, you can argue all day that Trump has won on a populist agenda, and this is part of it because where are folks going? And 50% of Americans don't have $1,000 to pay. If their car breaks down, that's an issue.
If you use that 75% number, 75% of those middle class moved up to upper middle or upper class, and the 2/3 of that is driving our economy, wouldn't that be a good indication of why we're seeing what we're seeing? We're still seeing people buy stuff.
For sure. And that's the reason why, you talk about GDP reports, and as I said, 2/3 of consumer spending is the GDP report. Then you've got government spending and corporate spending. But what's happening there with the spending is that you saw a GDP report that is evidence of this. And so you had a 4% GDP print in this last quarter. That's a really good number. There was, post-Great Financial Crisis, 2008, 2009, we struggled to get over 2%. It was 0, 1, 2 for a long time. And so now you got a report that was 4%. Now, it really, as I say, you can look at economic news through the lens of your politics. And if you want it to be bad, you can say all these things are bad. But if you want to be, pretty neutral about it, which I have to do, I look at it and say the GDP number is pretty good. Now, that was an annualized number, so let's not overstate that. So they take 1% is what the quarter report was, and they multiply it by 4. That's how they got 4%. Mm-hmm. The annualized number is probably going to be in the 3s, which is not bad. And why is that important? Because you need 2 back-to-back GDP reports that are negative to have a recession. So a lot of people are talking about what's going to happen to the economy. Right now, there's no indication of a negative GDP report sans a major geopolitical problem, which clearly could happen, as you can see all of the ships heading towards Iran.
Yeah, there's always that potential, obviously, and the world is in some ways in turmoil. At least there's some uncertainty there, and a word that you often don't like. But Dave Spano joining us from Annex Wealth Management. Before we go to the break, there's the central bank has a January meeting. Those minutes are supposed to be released on Wednesday. What do you think those minutes will show?
It's yesterday's newspaper, Steve. Those notes are from the January 27th, 28th meeting.
Okay.
And so it's going to be, the news is digested pretty quickly these days. And so that information is just going to be affirmation of what we already know. We already heard some of these bankers. By the way, the Federal Reserve used to be just the chairman talking, and now
right.
all of the presidents can talk. And they've let it out where it's at. So there'll be nothing new, I don't think, coming out of that. And as the saying goes, it's yesterday's newspaper. So we'll find out, but I don't think you're going to see anything this week that we don't already know.
Real quick, somebody asked on the text line before we go to break, how would you characterize last year's markets performance?
Well, double digit, right? 3 years in a row. I mean, you put it on a
Hard
scale.
not to like.
What's not to like, right? That doesn't mean that we're going to have a repeat for a 4th year in a row. I mean, indications are midterm elections generally are good, and we can cover that after the break.
All right, he is Dave Spano, CEO of Annex Wealth Management, annexwealth.com. Great place to get started. Click that, literally, the Get Started button, which is what I did all those years ago, and I suggest you too you do that as well. We'll take a quick break here on Point Taken on 620 WTMJ.
WTMJ's Julia Fellow for Appliance Gallery, right on Wisconsin Avenue in Milwaukee. Their gorgeous showroom is the most up-to-date in our state, featuring luxury brands like Sub-Zero, Wolf, Miele, Fisher & Paykel, and more. They'll work right with your contractor or designer and make the process seamless. They even offer brands where you can choose from custom colors. As a small family-owned company with one location, they deliver impeccable service with a personal touch. Visit ApplianceGalleryWY.com or stop in today.
Celebrate Fat Tuesday with Paunchkis from Wisconsin's legendary O&H Danish Bakery. Yes, O&H is so much more than famous Kringles. Choose from 10 delicious Paunchki varieties, including the exciting new flavor, Dolce de Leche. Of course, O&H will also have classic favorites like raspberry, cherry, and Bavarian cream. Only available for one day, Fat Tuesday. So call and place your order ASAP, 262-504-7000. Or visit O&H Danish Bakery in Racine, Oak Creek, or Sturtevant and taste the difference of bakery made from scratch.
With Pella, you get so much more than stunning windows and doors. You get the Pella experience. Pella manufactures, sells, installs, and services every product. And with a 10-year labor warranty, your windows and doors are worry-free for years to come. If something goes wrong, we're here to handle it because you work with the same team from start to finish.
Right now, get 0% interest for up to 48 months.
Visit PellaWI.com today.
Are you hosting an event, launching something new, wanting to get the word out about your part of the state? Be a featured guest on the WTMJ Experience Wisconsin show. Share your story, promote your event or business, and connect with fans all across the state. I'm John Merkier. I'd love to interview you. We reach listeners from Milwaukee to Madison, Green Bay to La Crosse, everywhere in between. It's Experience Wisconsin. Ready to shine a spotlight on your business or company? Email me, john@WTMJ.com for more information. john@WTMJ.com.
Thanks for listening to Point Taken. Markets are closed today. Somebody was asking about the Dow. It's closed, although Dave Spano, CEO of Annex Wealth Management, annexwealth.com, great place to get started. The market sits at 49.5, and I think you told me many times last year you wouldn't be surprised to see the market get to 50. It did that, about a week or so ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago. Pretty remarkable when you think about it.
It really is, and I said that kind of tongue in cheek. I said it's going to get to 50,000. I don't know when it's going to get to 50,000, but I wouldn't be surprised. And we touched off of it and retracted a little bit, but should you be surprised? If you look at really what's happening, again, lower interest rates, a GDP that's growing, and most importantly, why do stocks go up? Because they make more money and they sell more stuff. And so if you look at the revenue growth up 18%, you look at earnings growth up 11%, generally the market over time goes in the same direction as those things. And so if you have companies that are selling more things and making more money, then you're going to start to see some returns follow that. And it's set up to do that again. And that's the reason why I said we're going to have some volatility through this year. But when you have positive earnings growth, the market follows that over time. And so we can expect to see something like that. Maybe it might take into 2027, but we're supposed to see 3 quarters in a row of double-digit earnings growth in 2026. But if you compare that over time, the midterm election years have been bumpy, and this year is tracking right on top of what we've seen. We tracked it all the way back nearly 100 years, and so it's tracking right along here. A GDP report, because that's going to show a growing economy. And then generally, when you get some more clarity towards the end of the year, towards the election, then you start to get some traction. The Republicans are likely to lose the House if you look back at a historical perspective. Mm-hmm. Anytime one party owns 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and both sides of both Congress and Senate, generally in a midterm, they lose one of those. And it is likely, if you're a betting person, that the Democrats are going to take the House. And how the market reacts to that is they'll get some clarity more towards the end of the year. But there's a lot of moving parts that go into that, including, for example, changing policy.
Dave Spano, our guest, as he is every Monday, 11 o'clock hour from Annex Wealth Management. I did a webinar a couple back. I do a lot of webinars with Annex Wealth Management, and one of them was on some of the tax changes that are coming for Americans related to the big, beautiful bill and other changes in policy. I think it's a good time to remind people because, we're all sort of in that process right now, although you always remind me it's a year-long process, not a, wait till April and figure it all out. There's some changes, especially for seniors this year. Maybe we should highlight some of those.
Yeah, well, the big one is, when Trump ran, he said that there's going to be, try to make Social Security tax more tax neutral. And so right. that has happened. And so the big, beautiful bill did allow an increased standard deduction for those age 65, plus another $6,000 senior deduction. And so that means that a lot of folks' Social Security income might not be taxable. And obviously, you're going to have to work with a qualified advisor to find that out. So that's the big one. And then there's different phase outs that need to be navigated through that process. But if you're saving for retirement, there's still this catch-up provision, this catch-up contributions. If you're age 50 or older, I don't know why they call those folks older Americans. I'm a little insulted by that.
Sensitive?
But a little sensitive. But if you're 50 or older, you have for elder Americans, as they call them, catch-up contributions. But if you're maxing out in your IRA, you can still go to a Roth. And so there's a little bit of complexity that is coming up. I know I tried to answer that question in a minute, but that is a big part of the policy. And again, the other big part, the news right now, because of shifting policy, is a closing of the federal government, which is going to be an interesting conversation because you look at what's happening there, Steve, and the idea from the Democrats is to get some changes to particularly ICE. But if you look at DHS in the things that where the shutdowns are going to happen, TSA and the Coast Guard, and cybersecurity offices, those are affected. They're under DHS, and so is trying to get ICE changes to ICE is shutting down the TSA the right way to do that, or maybe not shutting down TSA, but having them go without paychecks. So hopefully we can get some resolution in the next 2 weeks when they finally come back off a recess.
This is not necessarily your expertise, but in the world of politics, do you ever think we'll get to a time when continuing resolutions and shutdowns are like normal reality when it comes to?
Yeah, it should be. But these CRs, continuing resolutions, are because they can't get a budget in place, right? And if we could have a budget and say, here's our revenue and expenses, and I'm talking about both Republicans and the Democrats, and I'm neither one of them, and I've heard you say this many times before, we have got to have a balanced budget. And how are you going to do that? That is way easier said than done, because what is it, 3/4 of the expenses are not discretionary. So, what are you going to do? Cut Social Security or Medicare? So how are you going to handle that issue? What's left to cut? Transportation and education. So, how are you going to solve that problem? There's revenue, there's expenses, but neither side is taking it seriously. And now $38 trillion in debt later, it eventually is going to catch up to us, and interest rates might spike from the bond vigilantes if it's not addressed.
Hey, real quick, I know you guys do a lot of research. Any research that suggests the ideas that were put out 20 years ago now that said maybe we should look at Social Security and have an option for people that, some of that's carved out for like the market's performance to be part of that story, what that would have paid out versus what we chose to do, which is keep Social Security intact?
Yeah, it's how much risk do you want to take, right? And so what you're talking about is having some of that in equities, and that would be substantial. It's a substantial difference, but you have to remember that this is the safety net, the state safety net for lots of Americans. And so, do you take risk on that? I don't know, but you can, for example, just do the math and say if someone is getting $2,000 a month times 12 months, that's $24,000 a year. What would they have to have in assets to duplicate that, right? So if you use, for example, $500,000 times a 4% withdrawal rate, that's $20,000 a year. So for most Americans, that's equal to having more than $500,000 in the equities market without the risk. So it's a safety net. You really can't do too much to it, but you have to pull couple of levers. One is how you put more money into the system and who's taking money out of the system. Very politically charged questions, but those are the two levers to pull.
Just listen to Dave Spana. We'd have it all figured out. Balanced budget and making smarter decisions on how we invest. That's why we have him on. Dave, always enjoy the conversation.
Good. Thanks, Stephen. Enjoy the week. Thanks.
All right. Markets are closed, as somebody just asked about that again. All right, we'll take a break here. Lots more of the program. I got about 35 minutes. I got some fun stories. We're going to do some fun stories because it's Monday, and a lot of people are enjoying the holiday. Not a lot, but some people are enjoying holiday, especially those bank workers. We'll get to all of that after this on 620 WTMJ.
All different types of injury lawyers advertise. Cartoon lawyers, bobblehead lawyers, and folks chasing ambulances with text messages. Our clients don't want or need such lawyers. Our clients know, like, and trust that Pasternak and Zergabel will help in their time of need. I'm Jeff Zergabel of Pasternak and Zergabel. Frank Pasternak and I are excellent personal injury lawyers in our community. If you need help after an injury, go to Pasternak and Zergabel at injurywisconsin.com. That's injurywisconsin.com.
Hi, it's David Nason from The Fix-It Show on WTMJ. Every Saturday morning, we talk about keeping your home in top shape. One issue I hear all the time, wet basements and foundation problems.
And that's where Accurate Basement Repair comes in. I'm Chris Mancuso, and for over 20 years, we've been The Fix-It Show's trusted experts in foundation repair and waterproofing.
Don't wait until the problem gets worse. Visit AccurateBasementRepair.com.
Accurate Basement Repair.
We're not just good, we're accurate. Catch Accurate Basement Repair on The Fix-It Show and WTMJ.com.
2026 Brewers Group tickets are on sale now, and planning your next event at American Family Field has never been easier. Whether it's a company outing, family reunion, or night out with friends, bring your group of 15 or more to the ballpark and enjoy up to 25% off single game tickets with no service fees. All Brewers home games are available now. Start planning today, and a Brewers Group ticket rep will handle the rest. But hurry, tickets are moving fast. Plan your 2026 outing at brewers.com/groups.
A buck in today's world doesn't go far unless you're spending it at Griffin. Because for just $1 over cost, you can buy brand new tires from us. Buy one or a whole set. This is Jim Griffin. Any major brand. We'll put you in new tires for just $1 over our cost with free tire repair and lifetime rotation. That's right, $1 over cost, and we'll even show you the invoice to prove it. So what's the catch? There's really no catch. You don't have to buy a car or a truck from us. We'd like it if you did, but our only requirement is we put them on for you. Buy one, two, or a set of four. The $1 deal at Griffin. Available at Griffin Chrysler Jeep South 27th Street and Griffin Ford Waukesha. The $1 deal at Griffin. Make your dollar go further. Griffin, the buck stops here, but the deals on tires don't. $1 over cost. That's Griffin.
Not combinable with other tire offers.
Half of American parents cannot afford diapers. Hi, this is WTMJ's Kristen Bry. This spring, WTMJ and the Milwaukee Diaper Mission are teaming up to change that. Join me for WTMJ Cares Bowling for Babies, where we will raise funds for Milwaukee Diaper Mission. Register to bowl with us on March 7th at Village Bowl in Menominee Falls. Registration is now open. Go to WTMJCares.com to sign up. Act quickly, teams will fill up fast. It's WTMJ Cares Bowling for Babies to help the Milwaukee Diaper Mission.
Thanks for joining us on this Monday edition, President's Day edition. Yes, I know George Washington's actual birthday wasn't today. Yes, I knew that. That's where the holiday was created for him and for his birthday. That's sort of the background. But thanks for the text reminders. It is always interesting to talk about the show away from the show, and we have a lot of those things. So you just heard an ad for Kristen's Bowling for Babies. Great thing that she's working on with WTMJ Cares. But we have other stuff that we do, and I'm going to tease some of the stuff that I do. If you did not know, I have an outdoor show which airs every Saturday, generally at 2. I think this week or next week it moves to 5, maybe this week. And we'll probably have some conflicts with the Brewers kicking it into gear pretty soon. But you can find it at our podcast page at WTMJ.com. And I talked to everybody. I actually did a fun summer and winter edition this week, and we talked to Beth Handel at Milwaukee Kayak and some water ski folks, and then a great interview with the owner of the was it Board Shack? I'm screwing up the name, but he's a surf guy up in the Sheboygan area, and it is Point Washington area, and it's a great way to sort of think about summer in terms of all that stuff. So just go to the podcast page, WTMJ Outdoors. We talk to hunting and fishing guides and experts, all that stuff too. The other one is Scaffidi, and I've done 2 so far, and I'm doing a series of these things related to faith and politics. I've interviewed Father Kevin Carroll, and Rabbi Jacob Herber on the intersection of faith and politics, and you can find that on the podcast page. Just look for Scaffidi, my own podcast. And lastly, the newsletter is offering up a new way to find out about all these things, because we put all the links on there and about the shows and guests we have on, including upcoming guests for the next week ahead. Just subscribe. EXTRA to 855-616-1620. You can get a link to that subscription. It's a great way to sort of catch up and then look ahead on our podcast. So we have local news coming up, But now here is the latest, of course, from ABC.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Concerns over the newly formed Board of Peace in Gaza by President Trump, with countries including Egypt, Jordan, and Hungary now weighing in on the future of Gaza. Here's ABC's Selena Wang.
The president has also said that his Board of Peace has pledged $5 billion towards rebuilding Gaza and that they've committed thousands of personnel to stabilization in the region. It's unclear exactly who is making those pledges, which countries are committing those troops, and this is really only expected to be a small fraction of what's actually needed, with the United Nations and the EU estimating that reconstruction will cost $70 billion.
Senator Lindsey Graham, meantime, in Tel Aviv today, leading a delegation to meet with Israeli leaders to discuss regional security. In Arizona, authorities are waiting on forensic results from a database after revealing that a glove found not far from Nancy Guthrie's home in the past week contained DNA of an unknown man. The search for the 84-year-old now in its third week. This is ABC News.
Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:31. I'm Connie Weber. Court updates in the case against Tremaine Jones, accused of killing Milwaukee police officer Kendall Corder. Judges and attorneys addressed witness availability and agreed to use stipulations and peer reviewers to resolve conflicts in the evidence. The defense agreed these changes would not affect the case. Trial remains scheduled for March 30th. Another hearing set for mid-March to finalize jury logistics. Double shooting in Milwaukee Sunday evening left 2 dead. Police responding to 12th and Concordia just after 5:30 p.m., where a 24-year-old and a 28-year-old were shot and pronounced dead at the scene. Police not seeking any suspects. Republican Party of Eau Claire County offering a $1,000 reward for information after their headquarters was vandalized. Post on their Facebook shows red spray paint graffiti across the office's entrance reading "Pedophile Protectors." Eggs also thrown against the building. Altoona police are investigating. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Markets are closed today for President's Day. Trading resumes tomorrow. Financial planning at every level. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, Annex Ignite. Details at annexwealth.com. Take a look at the roads now with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic. Pretty quiet out there, probably holiday light. We do have a disabled vehicle off on the right shoulder, I-41 south at County Road E. Otherwise, pretty typical drive times. 43 South Brown Deer Road to the Market Interchange, about 14 minutes. 94 north from Layton to the Marquette, about 7. Here's your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Mostly sunny today, reaching for a high of 60. Increasing cloudiness overnight with a low 34. Chance for afternoon or evening rain tomorrow, high 45. Rain Wednesday morning, then sunny in the afternoon, high Wednesday 56. We have a chance for a wintry mix Thursday afternoon and evening into Friday. Thursday's high 46, Friday's high 40. 53 in Madison, 49 in Green Bay, 51 in Milwaukee. I'm Connie Weber. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News Time, 11:33.
Are you worried about running out of money in retirement? Wondering about how to pay less taxes? Join me, Tony Drake, for the Retirement Ready Show, live every Saturday at noon and Sunday at 7 a.m. on WTMJ 620 or 103.3 FM. We'll talk about smart strategies to help you retire with confidence. Don't miss it.
Drake & Associates LLC is an independent investment advisory firm that offers a variety of different investment vehicles. This commercial is provided for informational purposes only and should not be construed as individual investment advice. Drake & Associates LLC does not provide legal or tax advice. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.
You've spent a lifetime taking care of others. Now it's your turn to enjoy life your way. At Capri Communities, they offer vibrant senior living where neighbors become friends, and each day brings something to smile about.
Well, it's breakfast with the boys, and then bingo is at 3 in the afternoon. I lost that super lady I lived with for 60 years, but have found a home and doing well. The accommodations, the facilities, it's been a pleasure.
Find your perfect new home at capricommunities.com.
It's here on consignment from over 10,000 nationwide partners. From very high-end, distinctive furniture, unique antiques and original art, to tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. Premium home decor priced right at 25 to 40% off retail prices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Smart interior designers know that what they'll see here is going to be almost impossible to find anywhere else, especially at our consignment prices. Premium home decor that's gently loved and close to new. And what we carry can raise the wow factor of anyone's home decor. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
It is always a pleasure to be on the radio. Chris will be back tomorrow, and I'm sure we won't play that as an intro out of break. Just having some fun on this. So I said I'm going to do some fun stories. Raise your hand out there if you drink coffee. I know there's a lot of you. Yes, of course you do, because you're normal people. I'm going to regret saying this. I've had it up to here. If you're watching on YouTube, I've had it up to here with these people say, I don't want to drink. The caffeine makes me shut up. Shut up. Why in the world? There are always pluses and minuses to anything, right? Alcohol, you could get too drunk and pass out and do worse things. But you also get that great buzz from alcohol. I am just sick and tired of hearing people put down coffee. I love coffee. I can drink coffee anytime. I can drink it at 5 minutes before I go to bed and sleep like a baby. Maybe that makes me unique. I don't care. Why am I talking about coffee? Because, this decaf thing, the rise of decaf or half, whatever, all that nonsense. And again, do your own thing. I'm not saying you can't. But there's something about caffeine that gets you started, gets the motor started, gets you going in the morning. Which leads me to this story, originally reported by the Journal of American Medicine. 130,000 people study. That's a lot of people. Somebody used to work in sampling. It's a lot of people. Which now suggested 2 to 3 cups of real coffee a day. Listen, lean into your radio or wherever you're consuming. Can reduce dementia risk and slow cognitive decline. And I'm thinking to myself when I read those words, yeah. You show me a decaf drinker or a no caffeine person, yeah, a little bit slower on the uptick. Not ready for the challenge that you need to get motivated, get excited. It's about time. This coffee bashing has to stop. Not having it. Not having any of it. And look, are there people that shouldn't have caffeine? Probably. I'm not a doctor. But here's the thing about dementia, as I'm reading this report. Early prevention is a big part of that story. Well, why not be your own best pal when it comes to your health and drink a couple cups of coffee a day? Maybe 1 in the morning, 1 late morning, 1 in the afternoon. I'm not shilling for coffee companies because there's a million different kinds and I wouldn't be able to do that anyway. Now, Texter makes a great point. There's coffee, and then there's all that other stuff. And this Texter from the 414, I love this. If I ran the world, every coffee shop would have 2 lines. One for those fancy drinks with the ridiculous orders, and one for us normal people who just want to, they use the word I can't use on the radio, cup of coffee. A regular cup of coffee. I'm one of the few people that go to Starbucks, not all the time, but most of the time, just get some roast coffee. That's it. That's all I need. It's like 3 something now, I think. I mean, what's wrong with people? Why not take the evidence, and now we have a study that says so, and maybe do something to help yourself be more healthy? That's a lot of people. This was a clinical study done from the data from the Nurses' Health Study and health professionals, looking at some of the challenges with dementia, how people got there. They looked at like diet, dementia causes, cognitive decline, function. And they followed up, get this, for 43 years. That's pretty significant. Do I think anyone's going to change their behavior based on what I say? No. That's the one thing about talkers on the radio. Squawkers have their own set of problems, but talkers, they always think, oh my God, I said it, therefore they're going to listen. Trust me, I know. It's a 50-50 world. People love what you do, and they can also hate you at the same time. And just read our text line for a good example of that. From the 920, start each morning with a cup of blonde coffee. Good for liver, too. Didn't know that. Here's some of the texts I can't read are the most funny. Here's from Lauren. I love coffee. Have 2 double cappuccinos today with 2 shots of espresso each. I'm ready for more. Lauren is attacking life. Lauren is not afraid of the power of caffeine. Oh, by the way, this is flexibility I would never have when Kristen was. She would not let me do this, but I'm doing it today because I'm here by myself. And I love Kristen, and I look forward to her coming back tomorrow because we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Drink that coffee. I'm editing myself as I almost put a word I shouldn't use in there. That's how excited I am about this. But the science is the science. And if you could do anything to slow down cognitive decline, you olders out there, elders, seniors, codgers, whatever term you want to use, that hurts. I'm in the codger category now. That really hurts. Although I was out there this weekend cutting trees down by myself, so who's a codger and who isn't? What a beautiful weather weekend that was. So drink more coffee. Science says that is an important thing to do. Dementia, cognitive decline. How about just being ready for the day? Don't be trudging around, drinking your decaf, not ready to get going. Did you have a comment, Jazz? Or are you just looking at me in wonder?
No, I was just saying, I moved to a new apartment. There's a coffee shop like half a block away from me, and that's where I sat in my morning.
See? Jazz understanding the power of a good cup of coffee and more importantly, a good coffee shop close to where you live. Now, that should be a factor in when you relocate. Is there a coffee shop close by that I could walk to, get some exercise? Last one, Steve from North Lake. I'm not a coffee nor caffeine basher. I'll have a coffee drink twice a week because I love the aroma and taste. Also great. It has absolutely no effect on my energy level. Good topic. Thanks for the appreciation. Here's another great point, and this is the point I'm trying to make. Consuming traditional coffee in moderation can be quite cheap. I buy a 12-ounce bag of ground coffee for about $5 to $6, make it at home, and last several weeks. My first cup of coffee every day is coffee I make at home. Absolutely. New study says maybe 130,000 people, maybe they're right, slows down cognitive decline and could have some positive benefits fighting back against the really important health scare of dementia, which is serious and affects so many families in our country. Quick break on Point Taken.
We see you out there doing things your way, which is why you shop at Blaine's Farm and Fleet, because you know we've supplied generations of farms and families with everything you need at prices that make the most of your money. Like select chicken coops, 15% off. Rewards members save 25%. Get special pricing in store on 16 to 20-ounce cans of Seafoam. And all wiper blades are 20% off. In store or online, we've got the value you need to do things your way. Blaine's Farm and Fleet. Being original.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Steve Scaffidi for Annex Wealth Management. Just talked to their CEO, Dave Spano, earlier. It's not about age, it's about a mindset. When you're ready for advice, it's time to seek a relationship with a wealth management firm that provides comprehensive planning and is ready to provide you with strategic advice. Whether you're on just starting your journey or finishing it, many people are watching the headlines wondering what's ahead. Annex Wealth Management can help turn uncertainty into understanding with personalized guidance and comprehensive planning. Annex can build diversified, tax-aware portfolios, very important, with the aim of managing risk and supporting your long-term financial goals. Their professionals help you evaluate strategies such as Roth conversions, thoughtful withdrawal planning, and portfolio positioning to help move forward with clarity rather than concern. We know the tax deadline's approaching. It's a great time to have someone who's up to date on the latest strategies and laws. Look at your portfolio. Planning for tax returns doesn't have to be overwhelming or feel that way. It's about you, your family, your business. Annex can help with that. Annex delivers coordinated expertise with a team of CFPs, CFAs, CPAs, PhDs, and attorneys. I've met them all under one roof. Give yourself the gift of guidance. Visit annexwealth.com. Click the now famous Get Started button. Know the difference with a fee-only fiduciary. That matters with Annex Wealth Management.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're invited. Vince Vitrano here for Colette Vacations, and I would love for you to join us. Southern Italy and Sicily this fall. We'll see it all. Palermo, that's where my family is from. Agrigento's Valley of the Temples. Amalfi Coast to Sorrento. Positano. We'll even walk in the excavated ruins of Pompeii and savor regional wines, specialty cuisine, and history. Maybe the best part, you don't have to plan a thing. Colette covers all the details. The flight, the meals, best hotels, and amazing local experiences. No wondering what to visit. How do we get there? They have tickets, all taken care of by my team at Colette. My wife, Nicole, and I would love for you to join us. The trip is in late October, and I can send you all the information. Send me an email, vince@wtmj.com. That's vince@wtmj.com. I'll send you the brochure, everything you need to know, including your all-in cost and options. Vinny's European vacation to Southern Italy and Sicily with Colette. Join us this fall.
Prizes, flyaways, even cash money. You want it? We've got it. Find a list of all contests and official rules by visiting WTMJ.com/contests. That's WTMJ.com/contests.
Talking some coffee. New study says yes. Slows down cognitive decline. Helps in the war against dementia. Which unfortunately affects a lot of families and a lot of individuals across this country. So not everybody agrees with me. From the 262, you are so crass with your shut-ups. You should hear how classless you sound on the radio. You think? Still listening? Shut up! I'm just kidding. I want you to listen. That's sort of an attention getter. Again, I'm responding to all of those, oh my God, caffeine. Oh, no. Well, how about yes? Especially when you talk about some of the latest developments when it comes to your health. And beyond that, I think it just normalizes your behavior, gets you going for the day. Don't trudge through work with your eyes half closed, mumbling, which is a common problem, trust me. As somebody who wakes up very early and gets to work early before anyone else is here, generally, I see the behavior when people come in. Drink some coffee. Get some caffeine in you. Somebody asked me about my view on K-Cups, convenience. Look, we should all pollute less, but I'm not going to sweat that. I mean, let's do better. I'd be more than happy if people just stopped throwing their trash on the highways and sidewalks. Seriously, what's wrong with you? Or dumping it out of a car. I've seen that recently. Stop. For the 414, drinking coffee right now, I'm with you, Steve. We're standing together. See my fist? If you're watching on YouTube, we're standing together. United against people who don't like coffee. I cannot understand the people who don't drink coffee. I don't get it. Like, what are you doing? Open up your minds. Relax your fists. Open up. I just made a fist. Relax your fists. Open your mind to some coffee. Even if you're 65, 55, 45, 35, if you've never had it, start trying it. Start drinking it. It's not like there's not a lot of options for coffee. Somebody said, are you paid by the coffee cup? No, I'm not getting any money for this, although certainly would welcome a coffee endorsement. Because it's all about capitalism, as I like to tell my partner who's off today, Kristen. I didn't mention that enough. She's actually doing a working day off, so she's busy. Wendy says she's laughing on the floor. I hope I entertain. It's sort of a different show when you do it by yourself because you're talking to yourself, essentially. I'm looking at my great producer, Jazz, and another terrific producer, Gina, who does the show right after our show, which is, if you have not sampled I call it the Jess and Greg show, pretty good stuff. Good guests, great guests. And always illuminating topics. So give them a shot midday right here on WTMJ. Got to take another break. I'll do a quick wrap-up for you. And then I'm on to my day. I've got a meeting. I've got recording to do. How's your day going? Hope you're having a great President's Day out there. You're listening, of course, to, as I like to say, the biggest stick in the state. I still say it. Oh, by the way, quick shout out to my lovely WTMJ listeners. All of you were fantastic. But special shout out, Steve and Jean Clementi sent me a couple nice Kringles. Thanks so much for doing that. That was awesome. You were fun to travel with. A fellow paisan, if I can say that. Clementi, it's obvious. Thanks to those folks for doing it. A very nice gesture. And I'm going to reward that gesture with a book that they asked for when I get a chance to get to the post office. I think it's closed today. Quick break.
Tune in to Wisconsin's Midday News with Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
An employee at the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office resigns after reportedly leaking information about a sexual assault investigation.
Bringing you the latest in news, sports, traffic, and weather.
Border Czar Tom Homan announces federal agents are drawing down from the surge in Minneapolis after a 2-month-long immigration enforcement operation.
Every weekday from noon until 3 p.m. Only on WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ Steve Scaffidi for QC Kinetics. 40,000 people. Think about that for a second. 40,000 people. That's not a crowd. That's a small city. City I live in is 37,000. That's bigger than that. Choose relief without surgery. What am I talking about? Last summer, I had bad elbow strain. I had a tear in the ligaments of my elbow, and I went to QC Kinetics. 5 treatments throughout the summer into the early fall. That pain is gone. Not with surgery, not with pain meds. It's not always the answer, those things. QC Kinetics, they're a great team led by Dr. Ashley Caravelli, who I met with a bunch of times. Right here in Milwaukee, by the way. They use safe, natural treatments backed by real science. Activate your body's natural healing power. Ask them about it. This is critical. The sooner you start, the faster the inflammation will ease, and that's really the cause of that pain. And you can slow down some of that osteoarthritis progression that's bothering you. That's sort of the problem. That can be fixed as well. So it's important to get started right now. Here's the numbers. 414-667-5559. 414-667-5559.
Recently, a seller that unfortunately ended up choosing another agent called me. She said she made a mistake, and what she was expressing to me sounded like she kind of was bullied into signing with him. Is it typical? Not always, but it will never happen when you hire a Century 21 Benefit Realty agent. I want our agents to be able to look in the mirror and say, I'd want to work with me. Not because they're good at saying what you want to hear or offer the lowest commission, but because of trust. Because if you're not feeling that from your agent, that's a problem. And I don't want that. At 1.9% on the listing side of your sale with our commission capped at $19,000, Century 21 Benefit Realty leads with a very fair and transparent commission structure with maximum marketing that can get your home sold fast and for the best price. And saving money matters, but working with someone who will tell you exactly what you need to know up front, that creates trust. And that matters too. This is Angela Calais with Century 21 Benefit Realty, benefit-realty.com, where you pay less for full service. Each office is independently owned and operated.
Fishermen, tired of winter? Come in from the cold at MW Marine this Saturday, starting at 11 a.m. for a free fishing seminar. Meet Captain Doug Klett, Mercury Pro, as he breaks down springtime muskies on Lake Geneva, where to find them and how to get them to bite. Then check out boats, upgrades, and accessories to get your rig ready for the season. It's free and no reservations required. MW Marine.
Drafty windows means wasted money. Call Siding Unlimited today for energy-efficient replacement windows and doors and start saving now. For a free estimate and honest price guarantee, go to sidingunlimited.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
I am Steve. There are many other Steves.
Got it right. Steve, without Kristen, she'll be back tomorrow. We'll have a rip-roaring show as we always do. Always fun to hang out with Kristen Bry on the radio. She is a smart woman who loves to push my buttons. I'll put it that way. What did somebody call her once? A firecracker. Yeah, that's a good description. But good at her job. So to wrap up my coffee conversation, it is something that I'm passionate about because I love coffee. And I'm not like a cup a day or then I forget about the rest of it. I drink coffee in the afternoon or even at night because I love the smell of it. I love the taste. A lot of people are saying the same thing. And thanks for all the texts on this, by the way. Lauren also says, shout out to all the local coffee roasters. Hawthorne Coffee, one of those local places. So, yeah, hey, boost your local economy. Help those people out. Before I get out of here, we do this every day because we want to push you to subscribe to our newsletter. I know it's one more thing, but it's once a week. And if you want to get sort of a behind the scenes, a look ahead to what we're doing on Point Taken, some of the things we're reading, watching, whatever, and some of the guests that are coming up, it's an easy, I think, 4 questions: name, city, zip code, something like that. And sign up for the newsletter. And if you want to get the link, text the word EXTRA, EXTRA, to 855-616-1620. And we'll sign you up, and you get it every Sunday morning in your inbox. It's a great read. It's real quick, less than 5 minutes. You can click on other stuff to make that process more involved. But almost every show that we've done, the guest interviews, I think mine last week was because we always do a recommendation. We also do a Wisconsin story. Kristen and I, sort of in an homage to Spanning the State, do a favorite Wisconsin story. So we have those on there. And my recommendation this week, I'm actually going to lend Kristen the book tomorrow, is the Why We're Polarized book by Ezra Klein. It's about 4 or 5 years old. It is one of the best books describing the current state of politics. And because of that book, and I reread it, because I had read it, I think when it came out, at least parts of it, I'm going to have a guest on. We're going to have a guest on Wednesday, Dr. Julia Azari from Marquette, who is mentioned in the book, talking about identity politics and the hyper-partisan environment we live in. So that's coming up on Wednesday's show. I think she's on at 11. So subscribe to the newsletter, Extra EXTRA. The news is next on 620 WTMJ.
Vince Vitrano for Hunt's Flooring in Greenfield. You should see what our new floors look like. And you can. But let's talk about you first. Whether you want to tighten things up before selling your house